Hey up, I'm Guy Kestivan, the Tester Man, and for this video, a particularly warm welcome to the good folks from Cycling UK, because this video is actually part of a feature commissioned by Cycling UK and Dan, the editor of the Cycle UK magazine, Cycle, which is a test of 6 angle grinder proof D-locks. So, there's a full written feature in the magazine with photographs and everything like that, and it's a fantastic charity to be a part of anyway, so I'd thoroughly encourage you to join it. I mean, it's who I do all my long-distance routes for, if you've seen those on the channel. But in this case, and I'll do some bike testing and kit testing for them as well, but in this case, like I say, 6 angle grinder proof locks. So, starting with the Litelok X1, $149.99, which is the cheapest lock-on test, 197 by 101mm internal dimensions, so medium-sized, so you can get it around a decent amount of stuff. It's a rubber coating on it over baronium composite armour, which is a registered trademark. 2 keys, and you get a nice little sort of silicone, I don't know how to describe it without sounding lewd, but basically a silicone cover with a split in the centre. My wife's had one of these locks for a very long time, and it's been impressively weather resistant, so yeah, that definitely works. And, nice safety feature, you get reflective detailing on it as well, and you get 2 keys, and a pouch is included, but there's me dropping a bit. You can also buy various different kind of mounts extra. So that's the cheapest one, the Litelok X1. We'll then be looking at the On Guard Rock Solid 8950 at $109.99, 1428 grams, so the lightest lock on test, but only 82mm through the centre, so the narrowest lock on test, 176mm long, so relatively compact, so you're not going to get as much bike and post or whatever you're attaching it to through the centre, but on the other hand, the less sort of excess loop you have, the harder it is for these locks to be pried or jemmied apart. Again, rubber coated over a multi-layer metal composite shackle. And if you look at the detailing, you can see it's actually kind of it's almost like a diamond textured finish, just like you get on an angle grinder blade, which we'll talk more about later as we get into the fun part of this testing. Comes with a huge amount of keys, comes with 5 keys. And all these locks come with key-coded cards, so you can order spare keys if somehow you lose all 5 of these. And the bracket is separate on that one. Then we move on to Hiplocks D1000, $249.99, 1917 grams. So although it looks a proper chunker, it's actually relatively light. But at 155mm internal, it's actually the shortest lock that I'm testing here. However, there's a D1000X, which comes with a significantly larger shackle. And at 92mm wide, there's actually a decent amount of width on it. Rubber coated, so really good in terms of resisting damaging to your frame, over a specialist composite material. So some kind of steel alloy underneath their 10-year lifetime warranty, and 3 keys. And again, you don't get a mount with it, but it comes with a whole load of different mount options, and you can see you got a thick rubber cover over the keys at the end there to keep the weather out. We then move on to the Litelok X3, which I think the Litelok X1 was claimed when it came out, it's claimed to be 5 times more angle grinder resistant than other locks on the market. This is 20 times, allegedly. We'll see about that when we get around to the brutality section of this test. But, yeah, 2,222 grams, so relatively hefty lock. Rubber coating, again, to protect your frame, with a stealth reflective finish on it. You've got 99mm width and 195mm length, so decent sized shackle, 2 keys included, and a pouch over, baronium composite armour, again, so similar construction to the X1, but a much heavier duty and heavier physically lock as well. And like I say, 2 keys included and a pouch. And then you've got all those mounting options aftermarket as well. An absolute classic, well, an updated version of the classic New York lock from Kryptonite. Comes with a mount included. As you can see there, it's already got the mount on. Without the mount, it's still 2,418 grams, which makes it the heaviest lock on test. And it's $269.99. Sorry, I forgot to say. $249.99 for that one, which is kind of the ballpark for most of these locks. So $250 for that, essentially. $270 for this lock, basically. Rubber coated again, over diamond coated steel, and then 3 keys included, and a 5-year warranty, and depending on the country, a varying amount of insurance cover provided with the lock. It's £3,000 in the UK. I think it's €4,000 or $5,000. And then the keyhole is protected with a little slider on the end of it. And then finally, we have the Abus Granite Super Extreme 2500. So 270 quid, which makes it the most expensive lock on test, but at 223mm long and 105mm wide. That's the internal dimensions. Even with this big plastic casing around the lock, it's got the largest amount of space inside it. So if you're, if you've got a plus-tired bike or anything like that, or an e-bike, and you're trying to, you're going to be connecting it to some big poles, then that's obviously useful, having that extra space inside. It's a plastic coating of a Wolfram carbide steel. It's got 2 keys with it, and the real win with Abus is they offer what they call a keyed-alike service. So you can get any Abus product, well, pretty much anything with a cylinder lock on it anyway. Anything with a physical lock on it anyway can be keyed alike. So you can even have your e-bike batteries, your lock, your safe for your keys that you put on your garage, all the locks in your garage, they can all be ordered with the same key. So that's a real advantage if you're running a lot of bikes and or just want the same key convenience throughout your locking system, especially if you're running a business or something like that, or a hire fleet or something like that, or you just want the convenience of one key operating all your locks. And this comes, if you remember the noise of something hitting the floor, this comes with a very heavy duty sort of Klingon Warbird style bracket mount that'll fit on your frame or your rack or anything like that. That comes free with this lock. Well, it's part of the 270 quid package, shall we say. So that's the basic minimums in terms of information on the lock. But the thing we're concentrating on here is how well they resist attack with the thieves' favourite new weapon, a handheld angle grinder. So unfortunately, these are really easy to conceal. They're really easy to buy, especially if you go to the average car boot sale. And yeah, you can tuck these under a coat. And previous locks, because interestingly, although all these locks are diamond standard instead of the Sold Secure UK accreditation, that doesn't currently have an angle grinder element to it. So that's something that a lot of the lock manufacturers, I mean, obviously all these guys here have created locks that are angle grinder resistant. So I don't think you can ever say they're completely angle grinder proof. The idea is you slow down the attack, make it awkward enough and take long enough that a thief is going to give up before he makes off with your bike. At the end of the day, if they've got limitless time, limitless discs and limitless batteries, they will get through almost anything. But the idea is it's enough of a deterrent that people will move on. And it's worth noting that contacted Oxford and Squire for this test, but they currently don't have anything that is specifically anti-angle grinder designed, but they will have products early in the spring. So that's all the admin done. It's time to try and see which of these locks actually holds out the longest, which provides the biggest deterrent to the thief, and therefore which protects your bike the best. So obviously I'm not a professional bike thief. This is a decent quality cordless grinder with good quality discs on it. There may be some stuff that you know about that's a special secret weapon that the thieves use that I don't. You know, I'm an amateur thief. I'm not a professional one. But I've seen a lot of tests in terms of the testing protocol. I thought I'd rather do something that kind of mimicked how how a thief is likely to meet your lock in the real world. I've seen a lot of like bench tests or vice tests where the lock is held in, you know, very, very securely, which doesn't seem to give it much of a fighting chance. Because obviously, if you've been savvy and you've locked your bike in a way that the thief struggles to get to the lock, or, you know, it can move about or anything like that, then that gives the lock more of a chance of surviving the attack. So what I've done, I've just locked it into security grill here in the workshop, and yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the stopwatch and then go at each lock in sequence in the same point on the lock. We're going to attack the shackle and see how long. I mean, I think 5 minutes is probably tops for how long I want to keep going at this. But we'll see how long each lock takes to cut through, if it does cut through, or what the state of the disc is after 5 minutes, or, you know, well, just see how we get on, yeah? And if we need to adjust the protocol as we go on, then we can do that, because there'll always be another side of the lock to test, won't there? Oh, and it'll be a fresh disc for every lock, and obviously if the battery runs low, and I'll make sure we charge that up as well, so everything as equal as possible. Right, enough chat, let's attack. Okay, so first up is the Litelok X1. There we go. Right, we're through. 238. The disc is looking pretty fried. But we are completely through. I mean, obviously, you're going to have to cut the other side of the lock to get through. So that's over a 5-minute cutting time. Let's just open it up and see what we're dealing with there. You can see the rubber cover's gone on it now, but the rest of it's clean through there now. So that's the Litelok X1 cut through. Right, so fresh disc, fresh battery, and it's the second go at the On Guard, because I've already managed to cut through it once. However, I managed not to film it. So, and it had some interesting results. So we'll see if we get those results repeated the second time we try this lock. So, grinder on, stopwatch go, On Guard under attack. Right, so as you can see, we're about 30 seconds in, and there's basically nothing left of that cutting disc. So I'm actually bottoming out now on the angle grinder. So we're going to need a fresh disc, and then we'll go again. So let's see how quickly I can change this. What's that? About 30 seconds to change the disc. I think you're going to be a fairly bold thief to be up for changing a disc midway through an attack, or maybe you'll have two angle grinders. I don't know how these swines operate, but okay, so stopwatch is on again. Camera is definitely on this time. See if we can get through it, because we did last time. I got through the rest of the disc. I mean, I think, to be honest, it's pretty much through. There we go. I've actually snapped it off. The remaining bit was snapped off. So yeah, it actually ended up, all told, a similar length of time. And you can see there's the cross section through there. You got a lot of that rubber on there, but then you cut through the steel shackle in the centre. So that's useful, because it's basically ended up a similar kind of cutting time on both of them, around a minute for both sides. But obviously you've got to factor in that disc swap halfway through as well. And the amount of bloody dust is created because, yeah, so what I should have said is, as I said in the introduction, that's very similar coating to what they actually use on those discs, but those discs are now smoked, toasted. So you're going to have to factor that into the time a thief will get through that on guard lock. Okay, so it's time for the Hiplock D1000 now. Grinder on, stopwatch on, go. Okay, 30 seconds, discs are gone again, so we're going to need to change that. Fresh disc. Okay, stopping again. So, another rotor gone. Yeah, still lock is solid. Let's try again. Right, let's see if we can get through it on the third disc. Wow, that was glad I had my safety specs on for that one. It's actually chipped the rotor now. So again, that rubber coating doing its job there, just making it really awkward to cut through. And if I'm looking at it now, I might just have a cut through to see how we're doing. Just going to see if I can get third disc now. Just going to see if I can get through it with this. Otherwise, I reckon we'll call it a win. With a Hiplock. Yeah, and again, you can see it's torn the. It's actually torn the disc, so it's getting quite dangerous to cut it anymore. So yeah, no, I reckon Hiplock is the first one that's actually defeated the angle grinder. That's 3 discs gone, and yeah, I mean it's over halfway through now, but you've still got your bike, and that's got to be 3 minutes cutting time, I reckon. I'll do the math, stick it in the caption, but yeah, well done Hiplock. First one to survive a decent prolonged attack. Litelok X3. Okay, we're a minute in. My arm's quite tired. 2.5 minutes. It's definitely getting hot. Yep, that's 5 minutes. What? Third of the way through? Maximum? Yeah, we're definitely not. If that, maybe even quarter. 5 minutes. I mean, it's still got some disc left. We could go and probably cut through another lesser lock, but I don't think we're going to bother hanging around for another 10 minutes, I'd guess, trying to get through this X3. Yeah, and the battery's nearly flat as well, so you'd need to change that out probably a couple more times. So that's 2 spare batteries with you. Yeah. I think if a thief has read this lock review, they're not going to bother if your bike's locked up with one of these. But I think that's maybe the only thing I'd say about it. It's not as obvious. I mean, the X3, it says it there, but it's a chunkier lock than the X1. But it doesn't, it's not really shouting, just don't even bother at me. But it's more, but then you got decent space, and it's actually a very thin and relatively light lock as well. So that's all in its favour. Right, so Kryptonite Yellow has been about as welcome amongst bike thieves as a wasp at a picnic for decades now. So let's see how this goes. Well, there you go. It's a disc eater again. Right, so that's 20 seconds of cutting and the disc has basically evaporated. I mean, we appear to have made some sort of progress, so I'm going to stick another one in there and we'll keep cracking on. Okay. Another 30 seconds. Another disc. Not even sure if we've got visibly further, to be honest. I guess we'll try another one. Right. Third disc. Third time lucky. Yeah, 40 seconds, and you can literally see the disc shrinking as I'm using it. And again, penetration is marginal. Yeah, I mean, that's... I reckon you could go through a packet of 10 discs and still not be anywhere getting through that. And that's a minute and 30 cutting now. Disc swaps taking 2 minutes each. Sorry, disc swaps taking 30 seconds each. Yeah, I think Kryptonite, fair enough. Yeah, if the lock thief is Superman, that's reasonably named. Right, last but not least, it's the Abus Granite Super Extreme. And interestingly, while it's got this plastic coating or a rubber coating on the rest of them, I've already noticed when I'm trying to get it into position to hold for a cut, it's already slipping around a lot more. So, even on that base level of design, it's interestingly, and the way it's angled as well, maybe, because this is the biggest shackle on test, the biggest space. But it's already putting up a bit of a fight in terms of just writhing all over the place, so I can't really get a good cut on it. Well, at least can't get it stable, so we have to be a bit careful with this one. I might even have to double lock it. Maybe I should just double lock it. See if that makes it more secure. Put it through there. I should put it... Oh, God, I'm not looking really. Talk amongst yourselves, class. Right, I'll put it through there. And that'll hopefully mean I can brace it and I'm less likely to... Oh, come on, guys. I'm less likely to finish this test with one arm. So, right. That's hopefully, yeah, that's a bit more secure. So, yeah, a slight change in the protocol. But that's already a win for the Abus. Just a more awkward lock to actually start cutting. So, grinders ready. Stopwatch. Go. Right, so we're 3:30 in. And the rotor, I mean, you can see the disc's kind of coated there. So, yeah, we've run out of cutting room because it's got such a thick plastic shell on it. You can't actually get much further into the rotor than that. Sorry, further into the disc than that. So I'll swap out the rotor and then we'll go again. Right, fresh disc. Stopwatch on. Okay, that's over 5 minutes of cutting. And we're getting close to being down to the knuckle on the disc again. I feel like we've got a bit further through the Abus than we did. There's the Litelok
lock, maybe. I don't know. It's really hard. It's kind of a wet. Definitely, that doesn't look like we got far at all. It feels like we got further through than on the Kryptonite. But then again, you look at it again, it's a bit of a wet cat situation. I'm for a start, all that plastic's getting in the way of it, but I don't think we're that far through it, to be honest. Right, just done some exploratory surgery on the Abus. What's interesting, not only can you see it's kind of bulged there around where it's been heated up, but I mean, we got about a third of the way through, I'd say. Third of the way through, but as you can see, it's a proper, you know, wet cat situation. There's a lot of cladding around it. So it's difficult to see. So I'd say we're further through than the Kryptonite, definitely. Probably slightly further through than the Litelok, but we've gone through 2 discs in the same way as we went through discs on the Litelok. So, and that's a 5-minute top out. So the bike is still very much intact. And also, another thing I was going to say is, I mean, we saw it before when I unlocked it, but it's worth going through again. If you look up Abus Super Granite on the internet, you'll see there's someone who attacked it. It's like, why you shouldn't buy Abus Super Granite? It's because there were some locks that came through, and basically that outer coating hadn't been put around the main shackle at the bottom there. So, yeah, there are some examples where the coating doesn't extend all the way to the bottom on early models. I think they're all sorted now because it's a relatively old video. But yeah, so don't worry, all the Abus locks now, they're right up to the hilt in terms of the protection all the way into that base there. So there we go. That's the longest I've ever spent on Grinder. But we obviously have some winners and losers. The On Guard rock solid 8950 actually got cut through pretty quick with both cutting tests. But I would say I have seen other tests online. I think Cycling Weekly did one where that sort of diamond finish completely shredded all the discs they were using against it, and they pretty much pronounced it invulnerable. So it seems like if you're lucky and the thief uses the wrong disc, this is still a high protection lock against angle grinders. Next up, we have the Litelok X1, which was the second lock we managed to cut through. But as you can see, a thief isn't going to get your bike out of that. And with 2:38 cutting time to get through one side, it's going to take them over 5 minutes to get through the lock and fully free your bike so they can make off with it. Next up, we have the Hiplock D1000, the first lock that I didn't actually get through. By the time you factor in how fast that discs are wearing out, or in this case, actually shredding, which is a deterrent in itself, I think we can declare this a pretty good protector of your bike from angle grinder attack. Then we have the Litelok X3, the South Wales heavyweight, arguably the most insolent of all locks in the attack, as 5 minutes, you know, it didn't wear the discs down, but 5 minutes full on, getting hot enough to melt the rubber coating around it. It's just basically, if we got through about 25% of it, I'd be really, really surprised. And yeah, I don't think they're going to bother pursuing that all the way through to the finish. Yeah, that's pretty much street proof, I'd reckon. Then we have the Abus, which for a start was kind of the most slippery customer for a thief to attack, and even that big plastic cladding adds an element of protection in terms of how deep you can go with the angle grinder. And then you've also got that key to like, and it also comes with the most robust mount. So there's a lot of wins with this Abus. And ultimately, even with 2 discs worn away and 5 minutes spent cutting it, I was only about 25% of the way through the shackle. So yeah, another lock I'd be happy to use to protect my bike from an angle grinder attack. But in this test, I think the winner has to be this Kryptonite New York lock, diamond standard. Not only did it give out the most impressive resistance to cutting, because I think that looks like it's only gone through the top layer. It's actually sort of different densities of metal, and it looks like it's gone through that top layer and then just absolutely stopped cutting against the inner core. And it's already shredding discs at that point, with you getting no further. And also, I just think having that big yellow bar on it, you know, Kryptonite have got a reputation, and if any thief has watched this test, he's going to go, oh, well, I won't bother with the big yellow one. It just gives, you know, an obvious kind of visual signal to keep thieves away from it, if they've done any research. And, you know, that's always been the reputation with Kryptonite anyway. So I kind of... Yes, it's a brilliant lock in terms of angle grinder security, but also I just think the simple fact that they've put a yellow wasp or bee-style warning on it is also a big deterrent in stopping thieves even starting on it. So, hope that's been interesting for you. Obviously, it's more than a little off the beaten path in terms of my normal testing, and if you've got any experience with any of these locks or any other locks, or, you know, you've got any tips for people's security and how to help protect their bikes, then I'm no expert in it. So if we've got people out there with real world experience or a bit more insight, it would be fantastic to hear from you. And if you want to see, you know, some of what goes into making a proper high-tech lock, then I'll put my video of the Abbas factory tour as a link at the end of this video. But for now, let me know if you found this locks test useful, and if there's any other kind of bike adjacent stuff that you want to see me testing in future, then let me know in the comments. You know, there's all sorts of things that go hand in hand with bike ownership that aren't necessarily directly attached to your bike. So if you want to learn more about them and you think I can help, then please let me know. But finally, a big thanks to Cycling UK for getting me involved for Cycle Magazine. And if you're looking for cycle insurance advocacy, a really fun monthly magazine and a whole load of other membership perks, as well as knowing you're supporting the leading cycling charity in the UK, then please go and have a look at a Cycling UK membership. And I'll put a link to that in the description below.